What do MarkGolding, Donald Trump, Kamala Harris, and Andrew Holness have in common? No, this isn't a setup for a bad joke. It's the playbook for Jamaica's 2025 election showdown. Let's break it down. What can Golding learn from Trump's shocking victory? And more importantly, can Holness avoid pulling a Kamala? Buckle up as we go on this roadmap to Jamaica's 2025 election. MarkGolding versus Andrew Holness. What can they learn from Trump versus Harris for Jamaica's 2025 elections? Hey patriotic internet friends and family, welcome back to the channel. In this video, first let's get our players straight. MarkGolding, the man steering the PNP ship, trying to rebuild it while still at sea. Andrew Holness, the two-term Prime Minister and captain of the JLP, navigating the stormy seas of public opinion. Then we have Trump, the polarizing disruptor, and Kamala Harris, the Vice President, who, let's just say, didn't quite electrify the crowd. We are going to break down the Trump 2016 election strategy. Lessons for MarkGolding. Love him or hate him, Trump's 2016 campaign was a masterclass in flipping the script. First up, the outsider appeal. Trump painted himself as the anti-establishment savior, the man who wasn't afraid to call out the swamp. MarkGolding, take notes. Position yourself as the disruptor. After all, Holness has been in power for nearly a decade. A fresh start for Jamaica sounds a lot better than a continuation of the same old. But can Golding pull off Trump's most controversial move? We'll get to that. Then there's the economic message. Trump simplified it. Make America great again. MAGA. Golding needs a slogan that resonates just as strongly. How about something like bring back Jamaica's balance? It hits the right notes. Economy, fairness, and nostalgia. Time come, me not really feel that. That's the PNP slogan where them are run with. Time come. That not resonate with everybody. Time come for what? And don't sleep on Trump's digital game. Social media became his personal news network. Marky G, maybe do less TikTok dances and more pointed Instagram posts. The younger voters are scrolling. Give them something to stop for. The Holness dilemma, avoiding Kamala's pitfall. Kamala's challenges what Holness can learn. Now Holness has his work cut out for him. Kamala Harris showed us what happens when a promising politician gets bogged down by, well, everything. First lesson, connect with the people. Kamala struggled to shake the out-of-touch image. Holness can't afford that mistake. If the Prime Minister shows up to another $1 billion ribbon cutting ceremony while the average Jamaican is deciding between light bills and groceries, well, call it game over. You see, our politicians, them so out of touch with the struggles of the everyday average Jamaicans. Very out of touch with our reality. Second, own your narrative. Kamala often seemed reactive, always on defense. Holness has to stay ahead of the story. Take the lead on transparency. Don't wait for scandals to break. You hear that, PM Holness? You first should have come and tell about the IC investigation. Want an easy win? Drop those quarterly town halls on TikTok Live. Jamaicans love a leader who shows face, not just when the cameras are rolling. And let's talk about charisma, because Golding has one key weakness that Holness could exploit. And stick around for that. Third, be specific. Kamala's biggest flop. Lofty promises with no concrete plan. Holness, don't just say economic growth. Show the pie chart. Show the bar graph. and maybe throw in some meme-worthy charts for good measure. Voters want receipts, not riddles. The roadmap to 2025. So what does this all mean for Jamaica's 2025 general elections? For Golding, it's all about differentiation. Trump turned his campaign into a spectacle. Golding doesn't need MAGA hats. But how about bold policies that challenge the status quo? Big ideas get big attention. Let's dig deeper for bolder, more innovative examples that can truly capture the public's imagination while positioning Golding as the visionary leader Jamaica needs. Here's a refreshed approach. Innovative ideas for MarkGolding. 1. Farm to Table Jamaica Agriculture Revolution. Partner with small farmers to create a nationwide co-op program that guarantees government purchase of their produce for schools, hospitals, and public sector food services. Add tech-driven solutions like farm drones and AI-based crop management for better yields. Tagline: growing our future together. 2. Renewable energy for all. Roll out community solar microgrids in underserved areas to reduce electricity costs, create green jobs, and cut the national energy bill. Encourage urban housing to install solar panels with tax rebates while making solar installation free for low-income homes. Tagline: Jamaica, powered by the sun. 3. Caribbean Innovation Hub Initiative. Establish Jamaica as the Silicon Valley of the Caribbean by creating a tech incubator hub with tax-free benefits for startups in AI, app development, and blockchain. Fund coding programs in school to create the next generation of Jamaican tech entrepreneurs. Tagline: from Kingston to Code Kings. 4. Universal healthcare access via mobile clinics. Deploy high-tech mobile healthcare units to deliver essential services like vaccinations, dental care, and mental health counseling to remote communities. Each unit is equipped with telemedicine capabilities, connecting Jamaicans to doctors globally. Tagline: healthcare for every yard. 5. Community-based crime reduction programs. Fund justice and peace zones where communities collaborate with local law enforcement to address root causes of crime. Offer mentorship, skill training, and direct funding for youth-led initiatives to rebuild trust and reduce violence. Tagline: justice begins at home. 6. Youth Futures Guarantee. Guarantee every Jamaican under 30 access to either 1. A tuition-free degree program. 2. A fully funded apprenticeship or vocational training. 3. A government-subsidized startup loan to launch a small business. Tagline: your future is our priority. 7. Island-wide affordable housing revolution. Kickstart a green housing initiative with eco-friendly, hurricane-resistant homes at subsidized prices for first-time buyers. Include a rent-to-own scheme for families currently in overcrowded or unsafe housing. Tagline: a home for every heart. 8. Re-imaging tourism with local ownership. Launch a tourism dividend fund that gives Jamaicans partial ownership of new resort developments. Profits are shared with contributors annually, turning the tourism boom into direct community wealth. Tagline: tourism for us by us. 9. Clean and Green Jamaica. Waste Management Revolution. Implement Zero Waste Initiative that includes island-wide recycling plants, waste to energy facilities, and incentives for households to compost organic waste. Tie this to a nationwide cleanup campaign where citizens can earn points redeemable for bill credits. Tagline: cleaner streets, brighter futures. How these ideas can play out in the campaign. 1. Visual appeal. Golding could unveil one major initiative per month, complete with community engagement events that showcase the immediate benefits. 2. Emotional connection. Use real-life stories of Jamaicans whose lives would be transformed by these programs to humanize the policies. 3. Digital leverage. Gamify certain programs like waste management or youth training with apps that track progress and reward participation. These innovative ideas do more than just grab attention. They paint Golding as a candidate with bold, achievable solutions tailored for Jamaica's challenges. Holness, meanwhile, needs to avoid complacency. The steady as she goes approach might have worked for 2 terms, but term 3 demands vision. Jamaicans are asking, what's next? Innovation, climate resilience, and youth opportunities. This is the moment to think big. But here's the kicker. Both candidates need to stay authentic. Trump's brashness worked because it felt real. Kamala's struggles, she often felt like she was playing a role. Golding, Marky G, you need to lean into your lawyerly intellect more, but make it relatable. Because you're kind of unrelatable a lot of times. Holness, keep the polished image, but sprinkle in some grassroots charm. But what about the wild card? External events, from a pandemic to a financial scandal. Anything can tip the scales, and Jamaica isn't short on surprises. The takeaways. So what have we learned? Golding needs to be the disruptor Jamaica didn't know it needed. Holness has to pivot from being the incumbent to being the innovator. Both need to stay genuine while crafting a message that resonates deeply. Here are the key takeaways for Golding. 1. Be the disruptor. 2. Simplify your message. 3. Leverage digital platforms. Here's the key takeaway for Holness. 1. Stay connected with the people. 2. Own the narrative. 3. Show concrete plans, not promises. Now let's get into my breakdown, my reaction, and my commentary. First, make we start by defining and explaining what is anti-establishment. Because we are contrast Marky G to Trump. So we are say, these are the things where Marky G can reverse engineer if he wants to win the 2025 general elections. Anti-establishment definition refers to a stance, attitude, or movement that opposes the traditional institutions, authorities, and power structures of a society. People or movements that are anti-establishment typically challenge the status quo, criticize perceived corruption, inefficiency, or elitism in government, corporations, or other influential entities, and advocate for significant change or reform. So now, make we ask the question, is Marky G an anti-establishment figure, or is he the establishment, or is he a part of the establishment? What's your assessment based on his character or stance so far? Let's get into the key features of anti-establishment thinking. 1. Rejection of the status quo. Anti-establishment figures or movements believe the current systems, whether political, economic, or social, are failing or fundamentally flawed. They aim to disrupt the these systems, often promoting alternatives that appeal to the general population. Trump did that very well. 2. Us versus them narrative. A hallmark of anti-establishment rhetoric is framing the elites, that's your politicians, big corporations, mainstream media, etc., as them versus the common people, us. It taps into widespread discontent and paints the establishment as disconnected, corrupt, or oppressive. 3. Appeal to frustration. Anti-establishment leaders often resonate with the people who feel left out, unheard, or mistreated by traditional systems. They speak directly to these frustrations, promising sweeping changes or revolutionary ideas. 4. Unconventional style. Anti-establishment figures often avoid traditional norms in how they present themselves. They may speak bluntly, embrace controversy, or use non-traditional channels like social media to bypass mainstream gatekeepers. Examples of anti-establishment in action. 1. Donald Trump, U.S. politics, 2016. Trump campaigned on the idea of draining the swamp, referring to Washington, D.C.'s political elite. Despite being a billionaire himself, he positioned himself as an outsider, taking on corrupt politicians and bureaucrats who, according to him, didn't care about regular Americans. 2. Brexit. United Kingdom, 2016. The Brexit campaign was anti-establishment in its rejection of the European Union (EU), which many Britons saw as an overreaching bureaucratic elite dictating terms to the UK. 3. Bob Marley and reggae music, Jamaica. Marley and reggae music in general were part of a culture of anti-establishment movement, criticizing societal injustices and colonial power structures while promoting messages of liberation, equality, and resistance. 4. Protest and grassroots movements. Groups like the Occupy Wall Street movement or Jamaica's own student-led protest often express anti-establishment views, challenging wealth inequality or government mismanagement. Why it works politically. Emotional resonance. Anti-establishment rhetoric connects deeply with those who feel disenfranchised or skeptical of traditional leaders. Simple messaging. The we versus them narrative is easy to understand and emotionally engaging. Taps into existing anger. It channels frustration into a cohesive movement, giving people a sense of empowerment against the big guys. Risk of being anti-establishment. Lack of practicality. It's easy to criticize. Delivering solutions can be much harder. Polarization. The us versus them narrative can deepen divisions within society. Loss of credibility. If the anti-establishment leader becomes part of the system, they may lose their appeal. In summary, being anti-establishment is about challenging the powers that be, appealing to the frustrated masses, and advocating for dramatic change. It's a strategy that can upend the political landscape when executed effectively. Based on the definition of what anti-establishment is, we can say both Marky G and Dr. Bro G are career politicians. They are traditional politicians, which means they are a part of the establishment. They are not anti-establishment. They are there to maintain and protect the status quo. And when we say status quo, we are talking about the existing state of affairs, especially when it comes to or regarding social or political issues. That are where them there to maintain and keep going. In my personal opinion, I don't know already, I am no expert, but we're not too bright and we're not too dunce. We have common sense. I know you're gonna have some comments scholar go running at the comments and say, oh, Marky G and Trump are two different things and a two different situation. Not entirely true. We are talking about two democratic systems in the Western Hemisphere, where Trump was the underdog, he was the opposition. Marky G is the underdog and he is the opposition. So yes, it is a fair comparison, contrasting the two political figures. Let's move on. Trump is a patriot. You don't need glasses to see that. Marky G is no patriot, not even close. As a matter of fact, me can go even further and say no Jamaican politician is patriotic. Marcus Garvey them patriotic, Bob Marley them patriotic, Malcolm X them patriotic, Muhammad Ali them patriotic. You not find patriotic people in the establishment because patriotic people too radical. They are anti-establishment. So you see how Trump just talk when he want to talk and say when he want to say and he no care 2 cents. Marky G is not like that. Marky G them too politically correct. Me don't know where them afraid of. Trump is a billionaire. Marky G is a billionaire in a Jamaican currency. Trump was an excellent, strong opposition to the Democratic Party. If you're going to be an opposition, that's how an opposition should move and act. Trump clearly stood with the people, and the people in turn make sure say in going a power. Our politicians is the opposite of that. Our politicians don't stand with the Jamaican people. Them only stand with them core base, we vote for them, which is a very small percentage of the population. So our politician, them cater for the minority, we vote for them, which is about a third. A third of 3 million people, do the math. Meanwhile, both the JLP and the PMP ignore the 2/3 when vote. The 2/3 that are eligible to vote but then choose not to vote because them just lose all hope and faith in both political parties. Instead, then try to win them over, them shun them and isolate them and only a focus on their core base. That's why I can't take your two favorite political parties serious. Because they're a joke at this point. You can't lose once you stand up with the majority of the population. Your sentiment supposed to reflect what the majority of the population is saying, not what the minority are saying. No majority rule the last time I check. But then again, our politicians have a very backwards approach with how they do approach everything. They're very backwards. Me never understand that. But yet they pretend to be forward thinking. So we all know that being in power as the ruling government, that doesn't guarantee say you're going to win the next election. Remember say Kamala them did have $1.5 billion for campaign fund and campaign spending and still lose miserably. So you can have all of the money. If your policies don't align with the masses and the voting population, dog name your supper. Kiss the election goodbye. You see, the Harris campaign strategy was to focus on progressive values. And when I say progressive values, we are talking about the whole transmission agenda, the whole dashway belly agenda, the whole anti-family agenda, anti-human life agenda. You have to lose. Because you go against nature, you go against humanity. So whenever you hear politicians talk about progressive or progressive values, then basically you talk about human rights. And when they talk about human rights, they talk about LGBT rights, transmission rights, dashway belly rights, anti-family agendas. Don't make the interchanging of word plays them deceive or trick. And when them talk about human rights, they not talk about civil rights. You have to know the difference. Don't make all the word semantics and the double speaking go over on your head. What do you think? Can MarkGolding out Trump? Will Andrew Holness avoid the Kamala curse? Let us know in the comments below. And if you want to keep up with the drama, conflict, and downright absurdity of Jamaican politics, hit subscribe, smash that like button, and turn on notifications. We'll see you in the next one. One love, Jamaica.